Good morning from Bahia Concepcion, or something like that. Here in Bahia Coyote in Bahia Concepcion, and here's a little town we haven't visited yet, but we got the big tender down this morning, and we're gonna go on an exploratory mission and take a look at what is here. All right, we just left Sea Venture and headed over here. How deep is it here, Jim?
7 feet.
7 feet. The water's super murky and really green.
Green. I think it's still waiting to warm up. And the green goes away.
Right now we're seeing a bunch of kelp. I'm hoping it shows up.
Kelp? Is that the right
Kelp?
word?
I don't know. Whatever the seagrassy stuff is. But not much in the way of sea life or anything else. But pretty cool cliffs here. Look at that. Here's access to the lagoon with Highway 1 right behind and a big old truck coming down it, and we hear these guys during the night like that. And a little beach. It's getting really shallow here, but the water again is so murky. So, I mean, you can see yourself and you can see a shadow, but it's what, 2-3 feet deep. So
2.3.
2.3, and there you have it. There's lots of little what do you call them with the little roofs? Anyway, lots of little thatched roof huts, and I think they're part of the campground, and you can rent them. And then there's
you put your tent underneath them, apparently in the shade, huh?
Apparently, yeah. We're walking along the beach here, and it's certainly it can be a busy beach, I would say. There are all these palapas that you can rent, and it's like a reserve for a night or whatever for your camping needs. And like we showed earlier, the highway right above the beach and then the water. But imagine coming here and camping and being able to go out and do water sports or play or kayak or paddleboard. Amazing place.
We're exploring the beach, really just walking along the beach. This is where Highway 1 meets the beach, so this is all full of campers and a couple restaurants. We're in the first bay of like 5 or 6 anchorages within 3 miles, literally. So here's the first one is over here, the second one's right there. We did come in the big tender so we can go explore all the anchorages in El Coyote here and see what's around.
So many little bays. This is Burro. Playa El Burro. Here we are in Bahia Coyote, and there's some permanent homes here on the beach in this really pretty bay, and then some more camping, lots of campgrounds. And we saw this beach and then realized there's another one farther down the way, so we're going to head over that way and see what that looks like. This is the far end of Coyote, the beach that looked so far away, but actually it looks pretty cool. There's some trees here. I bet those are pretty hot spots to get for campers. Looks really nice here. We're in Bahia Santa Barbara, and we're in the quietest of the anchorages here in Bahia Coyote, the whole group of anchorages. The reason I thought it was kind of cool is that it had palm trees. We haven't seen a ton of these, but there's palm trees here, and thought it'd be fun to stop. Good morning, it's about 8:30. We are pulling up anchor after another great night here in Satispak. We had dinner with friends last night and that on shore, and that was pretty fun. And now we're pulling up anchor and going to head over to El Burro, I think is what it's called, one of the other little bays here. The wind, it was calm a moment ago, neutral. And of course, just as we fire up the engines, the wind kicks up, so we've got about 10 knots or so, but no problem. We're just getting the anchor up, and then we are gonna go for a very short 2-mile cruise.
As we take this short, about 2-mile cruise from one anchorage to another within El Coyote, we're gonna go around these little islands and between them and stuff to our anchorage, which is over that way. It's just beautiful down here.
This is our approach to El Burro. I think we're going to see about anchoring more to the starboard side, or to our starboard side, to give us a little bit of wind protection. Here's a nice calm view of Burro Bay. And all the fun little homes here on the beach. And there's Blake. Hey, buddy. And Barkley. Blake.
He's okay.
Yeah, it's on.
Good morning, everyone. Well, hey, kiddo. Blake and I are having our morning coffee, and we're sitting here in the dead calm. This is El Burro, where we moved to yesterday, just the 2 or so miles from the other anchorage. And if Rosie spins around with the camera, we're right behind a big cliff that you can see. That cliff is due north of where we're sitting right now. And yesterday, the wind forecast for all the models were 10, 11, 12 knots from the north. But what we experienced all day yesterday was 17 knots from the east, which is this way. Which is why we sat here in a 2 or 3 foot chop yesterday with white cap rollers coming under the boat. The same thing is forecast for today, except instead of forecasted 11 or 12 knots from the north, it's forecasted like 14, 15, something like that. And I don't believe it. So we're not going to stay here because I'm concerned that even though the forecast is again from the north, it'll in fact in here somehow be from the east. So we're going to move back over in the area where we were night before last that has some more protection. But it was still worth it. We got a bunch of cleaning done yesterday, and then when the weather did settle down, we went to shore to TJ's. JC's, okay, where they have live music on Thursday nights, and it was great. It was packed.
It was a lot of fun.
With all the, we'll call them locals, but not really, with all the local gringos, with all the Americans that own homes in this area. And in fact, where we're going to go today, I think an anchor is close to in front of those homes where there's a little village. So I think that's the plan. We're going to up anchor this morning and go where there's a little better protection, still from the north protection, but also some protection from the east in case we have a repeat of yesterday. And see how that goes. Yeah, Blake? Yeah. So that's the plan for this morning. Well, what a beautiful morning this morning. There's no wind after a couple days of pretty windy times. And I think the wind is going to be some this afternoon, but a lot less than we've had the last couple days. Keep your fingers crossed, at least that's the forecast. So we're going to explore a couple of the little beach communities here this morning. And while it's still not too hot, I think today it's supposed to be 93 degrees or so today.
Yeah, 93 degrees. We'll see. We put our little sun cover on Sea Venture, so we'll see how much that helps. And but we think it helps pretty good. It works pretty well. So anyway, but right now the Bobos are getting us, so we're gonna go. We're rowing across the neighborhood, I guess you could say. The water looks really shallow, like maybe a foot deep. So Jim is doing the rowing thing.
It might be low tide too.
It might be. Yeah, we didn't check tides.
It doesn't matter.
So, yeah. We're just walking around this little community. They're building a house right there and working on it. And this is the view. Super cute little homes. Here's the signage at the entrance of Bahia Concepcion, this little community here. The pink building behind is a hotel, Airbnb, or maybe not Airbnb, but B&B. And this is Highway 1. The restaurant or bar across the highway. Here's the shoreline of this really cute little community. Clearly low tide, as there's a lot of boats that are anchored on land, anchored on the shore. But the tide is coming in, so we should be able to get our tender out of here easily enough. We certainly got her here. Walking through Burro. It looks like there's a couple of camping palapas here. And a cute little private beach over there for fun. Okay, we're just off the beach here, and I wanted to show you these cute little tents. These look like little camping tents you can rent. They're like a, I don't know what, but they look like little setup spaces. That you can sign up and rent. There's the Donkey Bar and restaurant where you can get a meal, and then some more little tents here. But it looks like a really cute little place in Burro Bay. We spent the morning doing some little excursions, one around this little neighborhood here, and then also at Playa Burro, the anchorage we were at a couple of days ago in all that wind. Came back to the boat, chilled a little bit, and then decided we were just going to go on to Santa Barbara anchorage and not worry about the wind, because it is what it is, and there you have it. We're both kind of ready to just continue on with our cruising. So we're pulling the tender behind the boat right now, though this is the little tender. The reason is we have the sunscreen on upstairs, and didn't want to have to take that all apart, to put the tender back up, to go 2 miles and put it back down again. So we're just going to tow it. We don't do this very often, but for short little jaunts we do. And we just got a little tow line that takes care of her. And actually it works for either of them. We're at the entrance to Santa Barbara Bay. We're just wrapping up anchoring here in Santa Barbara, and we got ourselves somewhat tucked around the corner. We'll see how this plays out.
I think it's good as we could have hoped.
Exactly.
I think it's good as we could have hoped. And we're going forward now, so we're definitely set.
All right, in 12 feet of water. Well, 12 under the hull.
125 feet of chain out.
All right, look at this pretty bay. Good morning. The sun is just peeking over the hill this morning as we start another beautiful day here in Santa Barbara Cove. It was a toasty 95 degrees yesterday. Today the forecast is for 89, so we should get a little bit of relief. And I think we're going to go play in the water.